Yalada, Ngai Gubud Italia, Ngai Kuku Yalanji, Tulewara, Buruwara, Ngai Gugu Nyungu, Gunawara. My name is Talia, and I am a Kuku Yalanji woman from the Daintree and China Camp areas, and I'm also Gugu Nyungu from the Shipton's Flat area. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land upon which I am recording this presentation today, and that is the Yalanji people. I am north of the Barron River here in Cairns on the northern beaches, and so I would like to pay my respect to their elders, past, present and future. I would also like to recognise their ongoing efforts to maintain a strong connection to country, kinship, language and culture. On the left-hand side, we can see the Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies, so the IATSIS map of Indigenous Australia, and in the red circle, that is the Kuku Yalanji boundaries, roughly in the far north Queensland, Lower Cape York region, and it's identified by that khaki colour on this map. And on the right hand side you can see a localised map of Kuku Yalanji boundaries. This picture was compiled by Jubbulbinna Yalanji Aboriginal Corporation and the Douglas Shire Council for a signage project. Kuku Yalanji Bubul country extends from roughly Port Douglas in the south, so the Mowbray River, to Cooktown in the north, to Yugubadja, the Annan River, and the Pacific Ocean in the east, and near Mount Mulgrave in the west. And so this boundary we refer to as Jubbulbinna, the home of the ancestors. This presentation will focus on nominal case marking in Kuku Yalanji, and particularly other noun derivations. You may be familiar with nominal case marking, which refers to the way in which languages indicate the grammatical role of a noun or noun phrase in a sentence. For example, ergative, instrumental, locative, etc. According to Elizabeth Patz, who is a linguist who extensively researched our Kuku Yalanji language and compiled a grammar, there are a few case markers that do not fit the categories just outlined, and so Patz identifies these as other noun derivations. There are some derivational affixes in Kuku Yalanji that add, broadly termed, a semantic aspect of personal characteristic to a noun root or stem, and these are wara, meaning inhabitants of, bugger, excessive, and mala, expert. We will now look at the definition of each case, the usage rules, and example sentences. The first one we will look at is wara, and wara means the inhabitants of X, so location X, or people, so a people coming from somewhere. Wara does have meaning as a component, however it is bound, which means that it needs to attach to a root word. And so this suffix attaches to proper place names or commutative stems, that is the accompany or together with. An allomorph is a term for a varied form of a morpheme, and so there are variations or allomorphs to wara, and this is dependent on the vowel and consonant. So you may have the variation of wara or the variation of ara, depending on how the root word finishes. Here is an example of wara in a sentence. Gubri wara wujal wujalaranda dungain. We can see in this sentence the allomorph of wara is used with gubri because gubri finishes in a vowel, the I. So gubri wara. We can see in wujal wujal aranda the allomorph of ara is used because wujal wujal ends in a consonant with an L. Here is another sentence. Majiji waranga guranji ubulgunin. Majiji waranga, so wara we can see in there as the suffix to the word majiji, and majiji referring to scrub or rainforest. Majiji waranga. It is important to note also that wara can refer to individual, singular person, or collective people. So for example, Julaiwara means a person coming from Daintree or people coming from Daintree. And Julai is referring to the Daintree River itself. The second other noun derivation that we will look at is bugger. The definition of bugger is excessive, so implying a characteristic. Bugger is another bound morpheme, and it is a suffix which is attached to a simple or reduplicated noun root, and the derived stem generally functions as a noun rather than an adjective. Bugger has semantic extensions, which means that it goes beyond the original meaning of the word. So if we look at jalbul bugger, it's actually referring to a notorious womanizer. Jalbul means woman, but it's not meaning overly feminine. It's actually implying that a male is excessively seeking out women. Pat's provided a simple noun phrase here, and I'm going to put it into a full sentence by adding a pronoun. So, Nyulu jalbul bugger, meaning that person is a notorious womanizer. Here is another full sentence example. Ngayo inil guli baganga, meaning I'm scared of the wild one. So rage excess, guli baga, is referring to wild one. An excessive nominal stem, so bugger, may also be used with no reference to anyone in particular, but as a general lament about a deplorable situation. For example, Nyura baga, there is too much noise around here. The third and final other noun derivation that we're going to look at is mala. A nominal stem formed with mala attached to a noun root has the semantic content good at noun or noun expert. Mala is a bound morpheme, and it is a prefix this time rather than the last two that we looked at, which were suffixes. As a prefix, mala goes before a noun or noun phrase. For example, malawuri, meaning good dancer. Here is a sentence example for the use of mala. Charlie mala bulgi, meaning Charlie is an expert stockman. We can see mala bulgi, meaning expert cattle. In a second example sentence, Nyulu mala mainga goyo yagan, we see mala mainga, meaning expert food ergative, and mala is the prefix which comes before mayanga. As we near the end of this presentation, I would like to highlight word order and the role of case marking with a comparison between Kuku Yalanji and English. Pat states that noun phrases in Kuku Yalanji is clearly identifiable for its role by case marking, and so the order of sentence constituents, so the words that make up a sentence, are not of great importance, whereas in English the word order is the primary means of recognizing syntactic roles. Henry and Ruth Hirschberger are linguists who also researched Kuku Yalanji and compiled a dictionary for our language, and according to them, words can be put in any order. As a Kuku Yalanji language speaker myself, I can provide an example of this free word order. So in English, the words that I might put in a sentence are, where are you going? And this is what it looks like in Kuku Yalanji. So, yunda wanjipu dungai, or I could say, yunda dungai wanjipu, and there's two variations of word order, however the meaning is the same. In conclusion, throughout this presentation we focused on other noun derivations, affixes in Kuku Yalanji that add a semantic aspect of personal characteristic to a noun root or stem, which include wara, meaning inhabitants of, bugger, meaning excessive, both of which are suffixes, and mala, meaning expert, which is a prefix. We looked at the definition of each case, the usage rules, allomorphy, and example sentences. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Until next time, Juma Nyajil. Juma meaning later, Nyajil meaning see, so see you later.